Hi there everyone, how you doing? Jeff C here. It is Sunday, October the 26th, and I have a big reminder for tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on maxresistance.com and also on YouTube. I will be hosting a great big show dealing with the latest false flag. There's one every day. So it's the one from, there was two this week in Canada. Well, it's the two that happened in Canada. Of course, the big one happening at the nation's Capitol and Parliament buildings, and one of the biggest psyops in Canadian history is underway. And I'm going to show it to you folks right now. I'm going to show you people, if you're Canadian and you're tuning in for the first time, thank you very much for tuning in and welcome to the show. My name is Jeff C, and what I do is I break down false flags, hoaxes, the lies of the corporate media, and I'm really good at it. I've had a ton of experience going way back, and I've covered so many of these that I can really catch them quickly and see the kind of mind control that they use when they bring these things in. Now, it's always about problem, reaction, solution when they carry out a false flag or a hoax. The idea, of course, is to convince the people that their safety is in jeopardy, therefore give the state more power so that the state can protect you. We've seen this time and time again, one of the best examples being Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook was a huge psyop on the American public in order to convince Americans that it was time to give up your guns and let the state come in and protect you. And since Sandy Hook happened, which is a 100% hoax, meaning nobody died, no one got hurt, they have brought in some of the strictest gun laws in American history, really, in places like Connecticut where this great farce took place. They use photos, they use hashtags, and they try to convince you that something terrible has happened. They get these photos like this, where seconds later you'll see the same people, if you watch the video, smiling away, right? But they know how to get them just right for the sheeple, the people that are watching at home, to convince them that something has happened. Here's a perfect example too. The girl crying, but the father smiling, right? Sandy Hook was a massive psyop on the American people, and it was one just of many. You can go back to Aurora, the Boston Strong, of course. Does that sound familiar to anybody in Ottawa, right? Boston Strong. What are they calling the one in Ottawa? Well, they're calling it OttawaStrong, of course. And look at all this. Wouldn't you know it? They had the T-shirts and the propaganda and everything ready to go right out of the gate, right? Just a day or two after it happened, it was everywhere. It was in hockey rinks, you know, football fields, baseball, you name it. Everyone came out, took off their hats, wiped tears or non-existent tears away, although the people cry easily because the people are easily manipulated, because the people are under constant mind control, because the people still trust the corporate media and the people still watch television, things that you should never do. There's only two things in life you should never do, folks. I mean, well, of course you shouldn't do a lot of bad things, but you shouldn't watch TV and you shouldn't trust the corporate media ever. And if you do those two things, you're going to be okay, because you're not going to be fooled by any of this bullshit that they push. And everywhere you went, you got Boston Strong, right? Everywhere. They conditioned the Boston people. Remember the USA, right? Singing. They even have the socks, Boston Strong, right? A whole different set of colors, right? Everything you could imagine. The propaganda was massive, folks, and I covered this in real time. I covered it when it was happening. In fact, I declared it a false flag the day that it happened, the afternoon that it happened, folks. And that's just having the experience at that time covering Sandy Hook and some of the other false flags that came right around that time. And they got everyone on board, folks, and this is a 100% hoax, the Boston bombing. Nobody died, nobody got hurt. You had crisis actors, amputee actors, which you can search on YouTube, they're everywhere, right? And they came in and portrayed people that had their limbs blown off. Then you had Sandy Hook linked to Boston, of course, with the green ribbons and stuff like that. The propaganda was a massive, folks, and it's still being used to this day. I mean, they still use it all the time. You'll see people wearing Boston Strong. And all the corporate media is on board. The sports media is so controlled, it's ridiculous. If you think that the sports are just caring about sports, no, they're owned by massive corporations that run all the media. And they are there to program you that something terrible has happened, and therefore the state needs the powers. You need to be disarmed, and the state needs to have more powers to watch you, because you can't be trusted. But don't worry, the state loves you, right? So we've seen this time and time again. In fact, it happened here. I covered this heavily. The Moncton shooting false flag, right? That another event that was completely staged, which far too few Canadians paid attention to. But guess what? You had Moncton Spirit was the hashtag that came out, and everywhere you went, people were sporting the colors, sporting the propaganda, buying it hook, line, and sinker that, you know, our soldiers, our police need to be better armed. They need to have more powers, and they need to be able to watch over you, because you're in trouble, folks. You're in trouble. So that's what happened with Boston, and that's what happened with Sandy Hook, and that's what happened with Moncton. They won with all these folks. They convinced the people that people died and that it was a tragedy, and it wasn't staged at all. No, it was, they caught right out of the bloom, right? Even though they had a drill just a few days before, a live shooting drill in Sackville, 30 minutes down the road from Moncton, which involved the Moncton police. But nobody paid attention to that, except a few people that tuned into my channel. Remember the dog that they brought out? And the dog was weeping by the coffin, right? The dog could smell his master in the coffin and was weeping. You can't make this shit up, folks. They know how to mind control you, and they do it again and again and again. What, don't believe me? How about not one more? Remember this hoax here? This false flag that was committed in California? And everyone bought it. Everybody came out, made the signs. I mean, the crisis actor here, Richard Martinez, had the impassioned speech less than 24 hours after supposedly his son got shot. Of course, what do you want to do if you're crisis actors? You want to get on stage as soon as possible. He got on stage, gave the speech, and said the hashtag, not one more. Next thing you know, all the celebrities were pushing it, right? Everyone was coming out. Lizard people like Mayor Bloomberg, well, former Mayor Bloomberg, the billionaire psychopathic New World Order freak, right? Who orchestrated many of these hoaxes, including Sandy Hook and the not one more Isla Vista whole psyop. The movie stars came out and pushed it because they have already sold their souls to Satan. They will do exactly as they're told, right? And the propaganda comes. And what does it tell you? What happens with this? Well, what happens is that the state takes away your power to defend yourself. That's exactly what happened in California as a direct result of the Isla Vista shooting hoax. The Isla Vista shooting hoax brought in the AB 1014, which is the Tattletale Bill, which is also known as the Elliot Rodger Bill, which was the character that they created to carry off this giant psyop. And what the AB 1014 does is it allows you to tattletale on anyone you know, basically. And you can tell the government that this person is dangerous and they have guns, and therefore the government will come and seize those guns because they have to protect the children from you, because you people cannot be trusted. Therefore, the guns should all be in the state's hand, the police's hand, and we should amp up our police, give them tanks, give them everything they need. And what you can do for us people is you can do the propaganda, you can wear the t-shirts. You could go out and program everyone, your neighbors, that we're not going to take it anymore. Not one more person will ever be able to stand up against the state ever again. Not one more person will ever be able to buy a gun or arm themselves. That's the way it's going, folks. It'll be there in 5-10 years if they get their way. All right? Not one more. That's exactly what it means. They want not one more person to be able to stand up against their New World Order. That's as simple as I can put it, folks. And all these fucking idiots that buy this shit and put the pictures of themselves and the hashtags, and they may or may not be idiots. Some of them are crisis actors, like Mrs. Lafferty here. Yes, Lafferty with her fake mother, Erica, Dawn Hochsprung, right? This is Erica Lafferty. And sure enough, she showed up. And she's from, of course, Sandy Hook. But she's also part of Moms Demand Action. Where's that from, Jeff? I think it's Mayor Bloomberg's initiative. Yeah, it was Bloomberg, of course, who came up with it, of course, right? And that's how it works, folks. So what do we see in Ottawa? Well, we see Ottawa strong. OttawaStrong everywhere with your handsome underwear model here, the gay victim. I think he's supposed to be gay, right? And it's everywhere now. They are programming you. They've got the T-shirts. They've got the sports teams. They've got the propaganda, right? There you go. Call him Nathan Cirillo, right? Poor guy, handsome guy. Every photo he's wearing army gear too, just to reinforce that this is a tragedy against the Canadian people. This is a terrible tragedy against the Canadian people. In fact, Canadian people should be absolutely outraged, and they should be demanding the heads of their government and the RCMP on spikes. That's quite simple, right? Because they have pulled off a massive false flag here in Canada to convince you that you need to be watched, that they need more power, that the RCMP needs more power, CSIS needs more power, CSEC needs more power. Do you even know what those things mean, Canada? Right? Do you know about CSIS, the FBI of Canada, and how they want to spy on everyone? They want to have the ability to detain people. They are bringing in an act that even George W. Bush would get giggles looking at, right? Because it's basically the Canadian version of the Patriot Act, right? And this is going to destroy freedom of speech completely. They're already bringing in all these anti-bullying bills, which are really anti-conspiracy theorist bills, because they want you to believe that you should not have the right to bear arms, and you should not have the right to question the government, and you should not have the right to question any of the false flags that they commit in order to convince you that they need the powers. All right? So what can people do? You can go on Twitter and you can see all the sheeple and also the just the shills, right, who are pushing the propaganda and putting the pictures everywhere. Already the OttawaStrong T-shirts are appearing everywhere, folks. They always have the T-shirts ready, you know. Cassidy Stay, it was 2 days later she already had the T-shirt. Stay strong. I even forgot to put that one up before. But they are going to program you, folks, and they are going to take away your rights. And this is a government that is beyond criminal. This is a government that has committed one of the greatest acts of treason against the Canadian people in the history of Canada, quite possibly the greatest act of treason against the Canadian people that has ever been committed. And they are convinced that they will get away with it, folks. And they are convincing many people out there, like this Spark Street, right, that, hey, have the T-shirts. Those are nice T-shirts. They're really well done. They're already up for sale. Already, just a couple days later, they're all over the place, folks. And people, the sheeple, will buy them, and they will push them everywhere. So what can we do, folks? It's pretty tough, but I'll say this. What you can do is kind of do what I've been doing. This would be a big help to me. If you could don't go after the politicians and stuff. Go after the people with the small Twitters, you know, under 1,000 stuff, right? Go after the people that are being fooled, right? Like I've done here, Patricia Petit here, whatever. Could you change the hashtag to Ottawa False Flag or Wake Up Canada, Ottawa's a False Flag, Ottawa Week, right? Here, celebrate the destruction of your own country. Search the hashtags for OttawaStrong and contact these people here like this. This is a perfect person to contact. Only a few hundred followers. They don't know what's going on. They are being fooled. And what you can do is use the hashtag WakeUpCanada or Ottawa Week, right? And let these people know that they are being lied to. Post links to our videos. Post links to my videos, Ottawa Expositor, Up North of the 49th, you know, all these videos, PK22, Red Pill Revolution, Red Silver J. Let these people know. Just keep searching this hashtag over and over again, OttawaStrong. And anyone who doesn't look like a government shill, send them our work. Send them our videos. Reach these people. This is the only way we're going to reach these people. Don't go for the people, don't go for the things like this that are obviously on board sort of thing. Stay away from them. But go for the little people. Go for the people that, you know, that are being fooled. Go for the sheeple, essentially. Send them links to our videos. Get this out there. Make it viral.